Do you ever feel like you're an old soul, that you've been here before? Well, this is what I'm going to be discussing today. I'm Julianna J, and I'm the Soul Illuminator. And today I wanted to discuss things that old souls will identify with. So, there are many clues that you may be an old soul, and I do believe most of us have been on Earth before, from Atlantean times, Lemurian times, Egyptian times, right through the ages, the stages of the Essenes, and they would be the people who would have been on Earth at the time of Jesus. We have many epiphanies and ways of reading the signs to realize that actually we have been here before. But there are certain traits that go with very old souls, and usually for old souls, you will have been told many times as a child, you're an old soul. You'll have heard your mum or your dad talking about the fact she's a little wise one, he's a little wise one, he's like a little old soul. So this is something that people identify with very, very easily. And we're often labelled, I'm certainly an old soul, and we're often labelled at a very young age for the wisdom that we hold, or for that 360 view that we often hold. So one of the signs is that labelling that the world places upon our shoulders, because they identify something within us that says, yeah, that's an old soul. The other one is that feeling of being a solitary loner. Sometimes old souls, especially when they're very young, will find it very difficult to find friends who want to go as deep as they do. So if we're at a party or if we're at a social gathering, we usually want to go deep. We want to go deep quickly. If we feel the connection with another person, we want to go deep and we want to keep it real. So we will gravitate towards people who are older. So a child at school will often want to hang around with teenagers. Teenagers will want to hang around with 20-year-olds. 20-year-olds want to hang around with 35, 40-year-olds, and so the game of life continues, and they're looking for that wisdom and people who will share their wisdom and share their depth of knowledge. And this can often leave them feeling empty, because they can feel that there's very few who share that vision of the world. So they tend to be loners. They would prefer to be alone than be in the wrong company that they cannot connect with, because it feels like a waste of time. So maybe you identify with that. The other one is they're looking for wisdom and truth. So they will smell a rat very quickly, and if somebody is not telling the truth, they will often be empathic enough to be able to identify this really, really quickly. And they have no reason for small talk. They actually want a life of meaning and substance. It's like there's an urgency in their soul that they actually know we don't have forever on this earth, so let's make the best of time. So being able to research and understand the deeper concepts and mystical concepts in life means an awful lot to old souls, because it feels like they are speaking a wealthy language, and they have a quest to understand history and understand how the earth evolved, why we're here, and how the universe works. So that quest for wisdom and knowledge is very, very strong within them. If you're an old soul, you may be very spiritually inclined. So spirituality may be very important. Your faith system, your belief in things that are beyond 3D, that are intergalactic, that are basically a spiritual aspect to you that is really founded in who you are. So you probably talk to people about the cosmos, about the universe, about signs, symbols, angels. You will talk to people about things that are beyond maybe the scope of what you were conditioned to think of. And you may reject religion, seeing it as very institutionalized, where you actually want to come down and experiment, because an old soul will realize this is one big experiment that we're all on Mother Earth. And these are awakened souls, basically from a very young age. And we actually do have souls who are coming in who are very, very awake, with 12 strands of DNA already in operation within them. And they really struggle when it comes to triviality in life, because they actually do want that spiritual aspect endorsed at a young age. So they will often choose their parents when they're coming down, and they would choose very aware and awake parents. And if they're not aware and awake parents, they'll quickly wake them up, which happened to a lot of us out there as old souls. The old soul aspect of ourselves actually emerged through our children. So maybe you identify with that. You understand the transience of life. So sometimes you're very aware that when someone passes on, their soul will go on. You understand that we're only dancing on this earth for a short while. You understand the soul's journey at a level that maybe not everyone in your family, in your neighbourhood understands. And sometimes you can have a lot of wisdom and knowledge that people aren't ready for when somebody passes on. Many people will be very good with people who are passing on and explaining the journey of the soul in their own way, so that it prepares a soul that maybe isn't as awakened or isn't as old for the journey ahead. So sometimes we're the light bearers and the bringers of wisdom about the other side, because we have a yearning for a place called home. And we don't mind talking about home and the fact that the next life is but a whisper away. It's just but a portal away. And sometimes we bring a lot of soothing hope and inspiration to people who are passing on without us even realizing, but the old soul part of us just seems to emerge and present itself, and we just seem to know how to talk to people as they transition. So that's very, very beautiful. You often think introspectively, so though you may be bubbly and have extrovert type tendencies, you will want the inner journey. You'll yearn for that introspective inner journey. You'll yearn for space for yourself. You'll have to retreat in order to have that introspection, that inner journey in some way, and that's very beautiful. So if you're an old soul, you will need space. You will be able to handle being in company, but for shorter times, because you will want to process what you actually have seen. Okay, and the bigger picture is your picture. You tend to see a 360 view of things. You tend to not get involved in the tittle tattle and tiny detail. You look for the meaning, you look for the lessons, you look for the bigger picture of what's happening. And this can be very daunting for other people who maybe aren't as prepared for the bigger picture, and they can find that old souls seem a bit weird because they don't get clogged down or bogged down in the same way as younger souls may, because of the wisdom and knowledge and innate knowledge and all you've seen before. Because in all the lifetimes that you've been down here, you've gone through recessions before, you've gone through cyclical change before, you've gone through the passing of the seasons, you understand nature's validity in your life, and you understand all of these things. And when this comes to the fore, you very much feel like, wow, you know, this is a passing thing. This is transient. We don't need to lose the plot here. This is okay, and this will be okay. This can be really difficult for other people to understand who aren't as awakened as you. So it's important that you find a tribe around you who get you, who know you, and who can warm you in some way, so that you can embrace this part of yourself and feel fulfilled in how it feels for you to see things in your light, and from that beautiful 360 view that we genuinely get when we're on our spiritual journey, and when we have the experience, the knowledge, the intuition and the wisdom to be able to see things in a clearer light. And it's quite beautiful. Generally, old souls aren't materialistic. Things like having the newest mobile phone, or things like having the coolest clothes or designer brands, are really not of interest. The style of being in the smartest seat and the coolest hotel and things like that are not of importance. What is important is the quality of what we bring into life. You may prefer to spend money on books and in finding ways of nourishing your quest for knowledge. You may find that you would prefer to invest in better quality food and more holistic food, better prepared food, food that comes from nature and the ground, rather than fast food. And you may want things that are handmade. You may appreciate at a great level things that are handmade, because you actually see that creation and creativity and supporting the artisan is so important, because that feels good to you to do, and it fuels and feeds the soul of someone else who has launched their creativity out. So you often are those blessed sponsors of artisans, the endorsers, the ambassadors of work, because even though you may not have the particular creative side of the artist or the musician, you really appreciate them letting their soul sing out there, and that old soul will want to endorse the creativity of somebody else and to sponsor them in any way they can. So this is a real sign of an old soul as well. You may be very susceptible to and sensitive to foods. So things that are not authentic, that have been tampered with in some way, that have been over processed, often do not lie well in your tummy. So you will feel the vibration of things very, very strongly. And even if you don't have the wording around it, you can feel when something is pure versus something that's manufactured. You'll probably be drawn to essences, holistic medicine, trees, herbs, natural creams, natural makeup. You may even not appreciate any form of makeup, because for you as an old soul, you want things as authentic as you can, and you actually believe that the truth will out, and that to know yourself is the power to transcend all. So you will look for things that don't hold a negative vibration, but hold a high vibration in the live foods that you eat, in the what you ingest into your body, what you place on your body, and you will probably find yourself veering towards a more holistic side of living as an old soul than worrying about the modern day and what the modern day can bring. These are some of the clues and signs that you're an old soul. If this resonates, I'd love to hear your comments, because I'd love to hear how it's resonated for you. It fascinates me as a subject, and I'm proud to say I am an old soul, and I love to gather old souls together, because I think we have so much wealth, so much wisdom to bring in and to bring to the fore in each other's lives. So I'd like to thank numerologist.com for this opportunity to speak on old souls, because I'm passionate about helping old souls to embrace themselves and accept themselves just exactly as you are, just as exactly as the divine has made you. So thank you, and I would love to hear your comments. And namaste from Julianna J for numerologist.com.